ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to episode 9 of Imam Initiative, a series about being an Imam in the West. In this episode, it's my great pleasure to present Sheikh Faruk Post. Sheikh Faruk is originally from the state of Connecticut, and his academic background includes earning a bachelor's and master's degree from Ummul Qura University in Mecca. He's also currently working on his PhD thesis in Hadith. He's been a religious scholar, director, and Imam in Connecticut, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, and he's also the founder of IMACD, Islamic Ministries and Community Development, a non-profit Daawah organization. Without further ado, here is episode 9 with Sheikh Faruk Post.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Sajid, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you greatly for this wonderful initiative. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to place this on your scale of good deeds and reward all of the Imams participating in this greatly needed initiative. There are numerous benefits of being an Imam or religious scholar or religious director in Muslim communities here in the West. From these benefits is that you get the opportunity to give back. You get the opportunity to give your zakat al-ilm. You get the chance to teach people, to teach those who have an interest in learning the religion and getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You get the opportunity to share what you may have spent so many years overseas in Saudi Arabia, in Mecca, in Medina, in Riyadh, or wherever you are. You get the chance to share that knowledge and convey that knowledge that you spent so many years overseas studying. Also, from the benefits of being an Imam is that you can hopefully, inshallah, be from amongst those whom the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in the Hadith about the 7 that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will shade on the day of resurrection. The first one that he mentioned was the Imam al-Adil, the just Imam. So it's upon the graduate or the student of knowledge to constantly remind himself to try to establish justice and try to be just with his congregation. Teaching others is one of the most beneficial ways to review what one has studied in the past. And another benefit of being a religious leader in the community is that you can guide, direct, and steer the community in the direction that you feel is most beneficial for them. Like a shepherd guiding his flock. You can guide them religiously, economically, sometimes politically, and definitely socially. You can provide topics and lessons and classes for the people that are beneficial for their religion, as well as facilitate other classes and activities that are beneficial for their worldly affairs as well. Also, from the benefits of being an Imam is that you can lead the people by example. And this is something that many of our communities in the West are lacking. They can have many guest speakers come and give talks and lectures and khutbahs, but they don't have that constant presence of somebody there who they can actually look at and how he is practicing the religion, so that they can take a practical example from that Imam and how he prays, how he deals with the people, how he talks with the people, his good manners and etiquettes. So the Imam has countless networking opportunities as well in the masjid. He can connect and reach out to people from different backgrounds, different professions, different specializations, and he can reach out to them to help serve the masjid or to establish some connections in the greater community. The Imam is also the face of the masjid and the representative of the Muslim community. He also can be politically connected with local authorities, politicians, and make positive change in the Muslim community, in his masjid, but also in the greater community as well. Also, from the benefits of being an Imam is the Imam gets to spend a lot of time in the masjid, around the Muslims, around righteous people, around the believers, around the remembrance of Allah. And also, as was mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the 7 that Allah will shade on the day of resurrection, is a man whose heart is attached and connected to the masjid. So praying normally in the masjid in congregation, as we know, is 25 to 27 times better than praying individually. And also, when the Imam, he goes to his work in the morning, or whenever he goes to spend his office hours in the masjid or do the activities or lead the prayer, and he remains in the masjid, he can make his intention for making i'tikaf in the masjid if he's staying in the masjid for a couple hours the whole day. Also, from the benefits of being an Imam is an opportunity to write articles, write books, do research, make audio lectures or videos while in the masjid, while having his office hours. As for working a regular 9 to 5 here in America, then one will not find too much time to produce books, do research papers, and most likely one's mind will be preoccupied with worldly things and will not be focused on Islamic knowledge nor Islamic research. Goals of Imams vary, but one of the main goals that I would advise for our graduates and for you, my brother Sajid, and for all those who hear this who are planning to come back to America to be Imams, is that they should try to learn the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and practice it and implement what you learned or what they learned. Try to practice what you've learned within yourself, within your household, within your family, first of all. That's the first goal that the student of knowledge should have. Also, your goal should be to acquire as much knowledge as you can while you are there in Saudi Arabia. Enough knowledge that will enable you to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based upon basira, based upon clear guidance and clear proofs. Also, one of your goals should also be to increase the knowledge and understanding of other Muslims of the religion, while removing from them ignorance, doubts, and misconceptions. And keep in mind that your personal success and your status with Allah and the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at you may be different than what is your status amongst the people. So the most important thing that an Imam should have as his goal is to do what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what makes people become knowledgeable about Allah and his religion and makes them better worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So measure your personal success with how much you practice and implement the knowledge that you learned, my dearly beloved brother. As for having worldly adornments, political statuses, political alliances, luxurious houses, then these things are not a measurement of one's true personal success or one's success in being a great Imam or one's success in the religion. Depending upon the community, the Imam, he should have some select students of knowledge that he sees that they are committed and dedicated and they are serious in learning, and he should try to train them in specific Islamic sciences or in how to be an Imam, how to recite the Quran with tajweed, memorize Juz Amma, how to give a khutbah, how to prepare a khutbah, how to teach. But generally, I believe that the student should try to make, or the imam should make the congregation, try to make the congregation and the people better worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fulfilling their pillars of Islam while having good Islamic manners and etiquettes, and be productive members of their society and as well as their greater community. As for raising attendance and focusing on making the congregation bigger in the masjid, then this will come. This will all come if the imam and his character, his teaching techniques, his knowledge, his Quranic recitation is appealing to the congregation. You might find that one imam, his Quranic recitation may be beautiful, and his teaching techniques may be excellent, and he may be very eloquent in giving khutbahs, but maybe some people or maybe some communities don't like him. Maybe they prefer other techniques of teaching or other styles of recitation of the Quran. So it shouldn't be a main goal of the imam of increasing the number of attendees at the masjid. Rather, he should focus more on quality of a smaller group of individuals. He should focus more on quality than quantity. And as we know, we have many verses in the Quran that dispraise the majority. And normally, many of the communities in the West, it is only a handful of brothers or sisters who actually support the masjid and who actually come to the lectures and activities, while the majority of those who come to the masjid only come on Jummah or only come in Ramadan, or you only see them for Eid. So, Brother Sajid, my advice to you and advice to the students is that the imam should try to establish some types of endowment funds so that the masajid will be self-sufficient and they won't need to do fundraisers, and their running will not depend upon donations. But in my opinion, I believe fundraisers should be done occasionally if needed. As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would call upon the Muslim community to spend for the sake of Allah and fund expeditions and fund other projects that needed to be done in the Muslim community. So the imam, he should not be shy about doing fundraisers. If he is shy, then maybe he should have an assistant who can do the fundraising, do the part which requires you ask the people to donate, and maybe the imam, he can read some verses from Quran and read some hadith from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to remind the people. So I always try to remind myself about the importance of fulfilling the amana and responsibilities of the contract that I agreed to. This is something I tried to remind myself with on a daily basis, and also try to remind myself to be patient. And I always try to remind myself to renew my intention constantly, because the intention is always changing. It's in constant need of rectification and renewal. And being an imam or religious director or religious scholar, it could be considered fun or exciting when engaging in activities in the community, maybe community dinners, maybe Quran competitions, traveling with some of the brothers in the community, or sports activities with the youth, or even teaching the youth. So sometimes an imam, he can find his job to be fun or exciting.